Hey, we got a really smart guy on. When MIT shows up, you know the Dan Yorke Show is behind the 8 ball, I can promise you.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Greetings, Kimasabes. I have to tell you, our production time was a little late today because I had the pleasure of meeting the Bristol Rotarians this afternoon. All of whom I think are on serious blood pressure medicine because they'd have to be in order to be able to live on the East Bay. For those of you on the East Bay, don't be insulted. I admire you. I don't know how you have the patience to live there. It's beautiful, but you can't get anywhere. And by the way, when they tell you, hey, 136 is quicker, it's not. But real life. Alrighty, I got that off my chest. It's all part of therapy and processing. Special Olympics, big stuff this weekend. Back end of the program, we'll meet Dennis DeJesus and the whole crowd, and well, listen, Special Olympics weekend. It's summer. It's a time. You're going to meet a gentleman from MIT momentarily who's going to knock you out with data, group statistics, predictions for the election, and past that, I'm just going to listen. Welcome in. Let's check the rundown and find out what's happening. By the way, this is crazy. What's going on now, the people are being roped into a really dumb move, I think. Headlines from the legislature yesterday. This moves past the whatever committee, they call it there at the General Assembly. But here's the story that the Channel 12 folks put together, and then I'll tell you what it's really all about.
The proposal to build a $700 million natural gas power plant in Burrville has pushed some homeowners to the point of considering leaving the state.
Should this power plant come in, many of us are going to pack up and move.
Wow, really?
Yes, and not just out of Burrville. Yes, we've already talked about it. My family has talked about it. It's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
The power generator company Invenergy has offered to build the 1,000 megawatt plant in the village of Pasco. It's said to bring 300 jobs and tax revenue to the town.
Do you think that this power plant will be built?
I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that question.
Burrville State Representative Cale Keeble is sponsoring a bill that would require any tax agreement between the town council and the power plant to go before Burrville's voters for approval.
Most of all, what they wanted was a say in this process, and they felt like that had been taken away from them.
That bill passed through committee on Tuesday. For the power plant to be built, it will need the okay from the state's Energy Facility Sitting Board as well as other agencies.
It's really an issue that's statewide, regional, and beyond.
Do you think the power plant will be built? I don't know, says the representative. Translation, you know that little thing where he really thinks? I don't really care. Because I'm just placating the citizens who are yelling about the power plant. Here's the truth. Even if this stupid bill gets passed in the legislature and the people in Burrville have a vote on the tax treaty with the power plant, most likely what's going to happen is they'll lose money because the power plant's ready to, and the state agency determines whether or not it's going to go in there or not. So they'll have a vote and they'll all vote the thing down. There'll be less net money and the plant goes in anyway. Bread and circus. Feed the dummies. Embarrassing piece of legislation. I can't get over it. So we'll be talking about that more here, I can promise you, before that whole thing comes down. On the Trump situation, he's just warming everybody up, isn't he? That whole move toward presidentiality, the whole nomination thing has been settled. The headlines are all over America today. And
I've
there's
watched you
the story.
on television. You're a real beauty. This sleazy guy right over here from ABC, he's a sleaze.
Donald Trump snarled at reporters for consistently asking for details about funds raised and dispersed for veterans, even as he, for the first time, provided specifics about where the money went.
Why do you resent just the verification process that is
Because
natural?
I wanted to make this out of the goodness of my heart. I didn't want to do this where the press is all involved, and all of a sudden everybody's going, where did it go? Who did it go to?
Trump has said repeatedly he raised $6 million for veterans charities, but it wasn't until last week he made good on his own pledge to donate $1 million. Yesterday, more details emerged.
This is my check for $1 million.
Trump listed 41 organizations he said received $5.6 million. So far, CBS has verified $4.4 million in donations from Trump or his affiliated foundation to 32 organizations.
I wasn't too involved in picking the organizations, other than I gave $1 million to the law enforcement Marine. They are fabulous people. They honored me last year at the Waldorf Astoria.
Outside Trump Tower, veterans, some registered Democrats, said Trump cannot buy their votes.
No matter how much he donates, he still is not standing for the values that veterans stand for here.
Trump needs to stop. He's using veterans as props.
Trump also stood by his attacks on fellow Republicans who don't support him, including New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez.
You think I'm going to change? I'm not changing, including with her. Go ahead, one more question.
Look, you know, this should be like the 37th speech I've made about this knucklehead, so I'm not gonna make another one. I'm just trying to figure out how he thinks. Does nobody have the guts to say, Mr. Trump, when you avoid a debate and put on a big show raising money for the veterans in a very public way, claim about how much money you've actually raised, the press is going to want to know, because the people have a right to know, how much dough you're raising and where it's going. And for you to bristle thinking this is some kind of private exercise, some benevolent, you know, I don't speak about my charity exercise, it just doesn't wash. And it's nice to see, I don't know how large the group of veterans against Trump is, it's nice to see them saying that we're not going to be used as pawns or props or those kinds of things, because it's exactly what he's doing. This guy has a warped sense of reality. We'll see how it goes. But it's one day after the next where he just surpasses his stupidity. He could win. You may want to bet on it. This is fascinating to me. I know nothing about this conversation other than my guest is going to inform me. I don't compete with MIT guys. You know, they are too smart for me, I can promise you. And Erik Duhaime is in here from the MIT Center for Collective Intelligence. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You can predict elections?
Well, not very well so far this year, at least.
Meaning?
Meaning I had Trump to lose the nomination, and that didn't turn out very well. In fact,
so why are you here? Lexi, why is he here?
Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. So the site that we're going to talk about today is Predicted. So it's a prediction market for betting on political outcomes. And the reason...
Go slow.
Yep.
A prediction market for betting on political outcomes.
Yep.
Define that, then we'll pause, we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
So the way it works is you bet over any event. So will Trump win the nomination? And you say bet 50 cents on that. And you will get $1 if that happens, or you'll get 0 cents if that doesn't happen. And a lot of research has found that these markets are a lot more accurate than, say, just taking a reading of the polls or listening to any political pundit on what's actually going to happen.
Is there a real marketplace for this action?
Yep. So this market Predicted is the one that currently exists. It's currently legal. They got a no action letter because people are so interested in these research benefits, the fact that it's so accurate. In the past, there were other markets. In 2008, for instance, there was a market called InTrade that had millions and millions of dollars on it. That has since been shut down. It was based in Ireland or something. It was always in some sort of legal gray area or maybe just a legal black area. Now it doesn't exist, but this one Predicted has sort of filled the void, and it has an exemption, so people are on it, betting away on who's going to win the election and a bunch of other things.
And does the odds board change?
Oh, yeah.
Based on the collective bets, just like the pari-mutuels at the horses, right?
Yep. Yeah. So the more people that bet, Trump's going to win it all, the higher the price you have to pay for that, dollar if it ends up happening. So right now, I think his odds are somewhere around 40% or higher.
So 2 to 5.
Yep.
All right. So if you bet $1, you get $1.40 back.
Yep.
40 cents on the dollar.
Well, so you'll bet, you'll give him 40 cents and you'll get $1 back, actually. So it's better than that if Trump becomes the nominee. So you can go either way. You can either bet 40 cents to get $1 back if he's the nominee, or what I usually do is bet against people. I'll pay 60 cents and I'll get $1 back if he doesn't become the nominee.
All right. I'm not sure how this works, and neither are you. And when we come back, we're going to make you some money. It's got to be some shining light in this election season. But before we do that, they point me over here because I got to talk to you about my friends at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. You don't have to worry about your bet on this. I bet you even money. In fact, I will more or less informally guarantee that when you work with Come to the Kitchen Bat Design Center, the project will be completed on time and on budget. And by the way, when it comes to time, it takes some time to work with the excellent designers to formulate the plan for your kitchen or bath. So if you're thinking, boy, I'd love to have a new kitchen or bath by the fall, you got to get going now. So give them a ring, get the consultation process going, and bet it'll be done incredibly well and on time and on budget. All right, let's figure out how we make some money in this election when we come back to it. Okay, so this is the site that Erik was talking about. By the way, Erik will be Dr. Erik soon when he finishes his thesis, as he's a doctoral student at MIT, the prediction market for politics. So this is an active place where people can go and actually bet on the election. Is this X number of elections? Is it just the presidential election?
Oh no, there's all sorts of things on there. A few months ago you could bet on whether Harriet Tubman would be the face of the $10 bill. You could bet on the Austrian election a couple weeks ago.
People making money, or is it just hobby entertainment?
Well, it's pretty much just hobbyists, because there's this limit that the government set where you can't spend more than $850 per trade. But you could end up losing a lot of money if you traded on a whole lot of things, or making a lot too. But it's zero sum in the sense that every time you're making money, someone else is losing it.
Okay. You're doing medical research as part of your doctoral program, correct?
Yeah. So my main research stream is basically, when is a group of individuals greater than the sum of its parts, and especially when it comes to decision making. And one of the areas that I'm most interested in applying this is in medical decision making. So lots of the times, if someone's diagnosing something, say, an EKG or a mammogram, it's one person looking at it and they say, all right, there's a problem here, or there's not a problem here. And I'm trying to figure out if there's ways where you can solicit multiple opinions and add those up and end up with more accurate diagnoses as a result.
Because the more people looking at a situation, weighing in, if they're informed, the better the decision is.
Exactly. And that if they're informed part is where it gets really tricky. Obviously, if you got 100 people in a room and one's a doctor, you just want to ask the doctor. You don't want to ask everybody else.
Unless the other 99 stated Howdy and Express last night. You have to have seen the commercial.
Maybe in that case, you'd go with the majority. But that's sort of what I'm trying to figure out, is how can you identify who's good and when are they good? Because you don't just want to ask everybody, and you, more often than not, you probably don't want to rely just on one person either.
All right, how does that research translate to the election making money process?
Yeah, so like I said
earlier, this is all coming together. So just follow this.
These prediction markets have been shown to be far more accurate than, say, just asking polls or asking any one expert. So there's a book, Expert Political Judgment, where this guy at Pennsylvania, Phil Tetlock, followed pundits' predictions for like 20 or 30 years. And he found not only are they not good, but they're pretty terrible. And meanwhile, there's a lot of research, say, he now runs a project called the Good Judgment Project, where they're asking laypersons what they think about, what's going to happen in Iran, or will Trump be elected. And this research has found that these people are a lot more accurate because if you think of an organization like the CIA, anyone who's in the CIA, they probably all think pretty similarly, or they're all getting access to the same sorts of information. But if there's a farmer in Maine who's an expert in, foreign policy or one thing or another, they might have information that the people in the CIA don't necessarily have. And asking lots of these people and adding up their opinions can actually be more accurate than asking a homogenous group, an expert or a homogenous group, or just taking a poll. If every single person in the country has a vote on whether Trump will become president, which they will, but if they just said, do I think it's going to happen, they're probably going to be less accurate than if you add up lots of smart people's opinions. And they'll still be more accurate than if you just ask any individual pundit. So these prediction markets, what's sort of happening is lots of different people with their own views and their own information can come and put money on the line. So it's an incentive to collect and aggregate information. If I see a bet, will Trump be the nominee, and I have money on it, and I see a new piece of news, I might immediately go onto that market and trade accordingly. Where a poll, it'll be slow and take time to incorporate that information.
Okay. I'm really listening carefully.
So let's think of it this way. If you
I think
really
this is the
wanted
first
to
time
predict,
I've ever had this kind of stutter step in a conversation.
If you wanted to predict whether Trump's going to be president,
yes,
what would you do? Would you, just go with your own gut and trust that? Would you ask 100 random people There's a lot of different ways you can do this, and this approach is you let people put money on the line, and if money's on the line, they end up thinking a little more carefully about who they bet on.
They research.
They research.
They research. So as the odds get better in this market that Trump will win, the predictability becomes more accurate because people are paying attention.
Well,
and
yes
putting
and
their
no.
money and they're putting their money on the line.
I'd basically say the more people with their money on the line paying attention, the more accurate this market will be. So last July, when I first saw it, Trump had a 15% chance, and I thought that was crazy. So I started betting against it. He got more and more likely to win.
You were betting against him losing.
No, I was betting against him winning, and now I'm still betting against him winning, but clearly the first part of that didn't work out. I bet against him winning the nomination. Now I'm betting against him winning the presidency.
And the data or the reference or the feeling or the thought process that is different now versus your miscalculation for the primary was?
Well,
or is?
To tell the truth, I basically still have much the same hypothesis. When I made the bet a while ago, what I usually do is bet against people who I think, aren't really stable enough to stand the test of time. So clearly the Trump situation didn't work out, but I've also bet against Ben Carson, and Mike Huckabee at one point was in the names of people. This time it didn't work out, but I'm pretty confident that he won't be president, and I'll at least make a little of that back. But we'll see. The market right now has him about 40%. I think he's maybe 20% or less. So if you agree, you can try your luck on this site. If you disagree, you could try your luck on the site too. Time will tell.
Fascinating. As we get closer to the election, maybe we can have you back and see where your betting is.
Great.
But you know what? My summary on this is this. When people have something on the line, they pay attention, period. I preach all darn day on TV and radio every day. If you've got something on the line, that's why people who have some pocket issue on a local basis get all engaged, like the Burrville power plant that we were just talking about. They may make the wrong decision, but at least they try to inform themselves and get engaged when their money is on the line.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Well, by the way, that you're betting against him, does that mean you don't want him to be the president?
Well, I also don't want him to be, which, if anything would make me nervous about where I'm putting my money, because that's an easy mistake people make, is they bet on what they want to happen and not on what will.
Yeah, I think that's why I'll stay clear of that bet. Good to see you, Eric. Thank you.
Thank
Good luck
you.
with your PhD.
Thanks.
Special Olympics coming up. We'll meet the folks. Stay with us. I'm still trying to figure out how I can make money on the election. I love that. We got to think this one over. I'll tell you, bet on this, though. It'll be a great weekend. That's for sure at URI, the Special Olympics State Summer Games, June 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's an annual. It's one of the jewel events of the calendar year in Rhode Island, no doubt. And DeJesus, of course, is the CEO of Special Olympics Rhode Island. My friend, welcome.
Good to be here, Dan.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
And Michael Bullock is going to be a participant from the East Providence Townies, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
You play a little hoop. You're tall. What are you, 6 what?
Somewhere over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm not really that good at guessing of how tall I am, so I'd say over 6 feet tall.
Nice. And you are part of the East Providence Townies, which is an independent team competing in the Rhode Island Special Olympics, correct?
That is correct. And of course, my father is the coach of the team.
And how long have you been involved in this?
19 years.
Really?
Yep.
You got a game?
That is correct, especially this weekend with the. I'll certainly be running a lot at the state summer games.
What do you average per game?
I average. What I average is about. In basketball?
Yeah, in points.
You score a lot? Let's just say probably somewhere around 10 points.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But I always like to distribute the ball and make sure every
team player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have enough of those around here, no doubt. We've got something for everybody this weekend. Yes.
No doubt about it. 1,500 athletes, 2,000 volunteers, countless spectators. Just got to keep our fingers crossed on the weather.
And Sunday looks a little iffy, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Friday night looks, man, that's our opening ceremonies when we march into the stadium. We don't want to go indoors. It's much better outdoors. But there's something for everyone at Special Olympics. 48th Annual Summer Games. We're very, very proud of the tradition, the legacy, URI, great host, and it's going to be a great event.
You know, we talked about this so many times. if you like competition and if you like to watch competition and you think that this won't whet your appetite, you're mistaken. There's not only a serious competition here, but there is a human element that is, it's almost undefinable, indescribable.
You know, the competition is intense.
And serious.
And serious. Oh, you're not kidding.
This is right?
Oh, yeah. This
serious
is
stuff,
serious.
Michael.
Serious.
But when that race ends, Michael Bullock's the first one to put his arm around his competitors, tell them what a great job that they did. Win, lose, or draw. Mike Bullock epitomizes what a special athlete, Olympic athlete is all about. And it's about sportsmanship, it's about camaraderie. But you're right, the competition is intense, right, Michael?
That is correct. The competition is intense, especially in track and field. There are times it could be a photo finish.
Yeah, I had a few of those in my day. They're very exciting. What are you laughing at? You're looking at a sub 4:30 miler here, by the way. Now, you know what I got to do? I got to bring in from Michael. The hell with DeJesus. I don't care about him. I got to bring in photos of me breaking the tape, and
man, that'd be something to
just
see.
because I look like this now doesn't mean I didn't look like this then. I don't like this guy very much. I like you, but this guy has been around me too long. Why the Special Olympics so important to you, Michael?
It means a lot to me. I mean, of course, my sister, who has Down syndrome, she's been around much longer, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Of course, I'm the director of Special Olympics Rhode Island magazine, which you can see on Channel 5, and I also am part of the committee at the state summer games. I helped set up for the dance, and let's just say I even met my girlfriend through Special Olympics.
Dude, nice move.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
Oh, it's working out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we even work together. And we have a dance that goes on at the state summer games Saturday night. We always do a different theme, which is obviously this year a Greece theme for the state summer games. So you never know how I'll look at the state summer games.
I know. Between a 10-point scoring average and all that, I mean, you are one dangerous weapon at the Special Olympics. Well, what do you want people to do this weekend? Obviously, come down and enjoy.
Yeah, I want them to see it. I really want them to come down, cheer on our athletes. We need volunteers. We're still looking for volunteers for Saturday and Sunday. But I want them to come down and just enjoy the atmosphere, the environment. It's a fantastic weekend. We always say if we get you there once, we got you hooked. You're coming back. And just open your eyes to the joy that the athletes bring you. Opportunity, that's the word. That's what Special Olympics is all about.
And if you think you're having a tough week, a tough month, a tough year, a tough anything, spend some time at this event. You'll walk away with a smile on your face. There's no doubt about that.
3 feet off the ground, no doubt.
And I got a shirt. And I don't have any purple shirts, so I'm good. Thanks, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, Stan.
Thank you.
Like it. Yeah, thank you very much, Stan.
You are good. You're the man. When we come back, final words. Stay with us. Hey, did you check this thing out? Do we have the headline here? I think we do. This is the PGA Tour player who hits the girl in the. He drives it, by the way, 320 yards, knocks the girl square in the head. She's gushing blood. He goes and finds her at her home, brings the flowers, the whole thing. Now she's got the website going, and look at her. Look at the mess she was, and now look how happy she is. An athlete who actually gets that little TLC with the customers goes a long way, just like the Special Olympics. Get there this weekend, all right? We'll see you on the radio tomorrow at 3 o'clock on WPRL. Thanks for watching. Good night.